All right, thanks for joining me on another episode of Why Not Go, the channel dedicated to rock and roll, especially punk and especially the Sex Pistols. Well, today I'm really excited. I feel like a teenager, even though I'll be 67 next month. I feel like a teenager because tonight we're going to go see The Damned. And I've always loved The Damned. I think that they're good on record, but I think they really shine when you see them live. And I'm really glad they're coming to Orlando. We're going to Disney Springs, which is like a outdoor area where there's restaurants and bars right next to Disney World. One thing I've learned since moving to Florida 6 years ago is a lot of bands don't come to Florida, or they don't come to the Southeast at all, at least the bands that I like. A lot of bands, I know it's probably expensive touring, but a lot of bands do. They play the Northeast, and then they might swing by Chicago, and then they go directly to the West Coast, such as Frank Carter and the Sex Pistols. They're not coming to the Southeast at all. But it's not just them. A lot of bands don't. So I'm really happy that the Damned are coming our way, and I'm going to see them tonight. It's funny, they're calling this the 40th anniversary tour, but the first time I saw The Damned was April 18th, 1977, so that's 48 years ago. And I'll never forget the excitement of seeing them at the Starwood Club in Hollywood. They were the first punk band from England to come over. So at that time, it was a very small punk crowd in LA, and everyone that was in that crowd was at the shows. They played 2 nights. I believe I went to both nights. I did interview them for my fanzine Blank Generation. I'll just show it here. That was my our May issue, and it says "Damned, Damned, Damned" live interview and live review. Those were fun times, and I also took just some pictures that were pretty good, actually. There's a nice close-up of Dave Anian that I took, and that's a pretty good picture of him. He was so cute. So I'm really happy that they're still performing. I'll never forget the first time when I bought one of their records, and I hope they do New Rose. This is the New Rose single with Help on the B-side. I just loved this song, and whoops, I was super excited when they started releasing records. And like many bands, there's a connection with the Sex Pistols, with the Damned, because they were inspired by the Sex Pistols to start in the first place, much like, I don't know, countless other bands that started at that time: The Clash, Generation X, Susie and the Banshees, Joy Division. So many bands in 1976 and 77 were inspired because they happened to see them live. And this is what happened with the Damned. Apparently, members of the group, this is before they had formed the Damned, they saw the Sex Pistols at the Nashville Rooms in April of 1976. And when I looked it up, the Sex Pistols, they actually played 3 times at the Nashville in April of 1976. I don't know if they went to all the shows or just one of them. But anyway, seeing the Sex Pistols, it must have been such a amazing experience in those days. And much like Joe Strummer, who also saw the Sex Pistols at the Nashville, members of the Damned, I'm assuming it was Dave Anian and Brian James and Captain and Rat, or at least a couple of the members, they decided they wanted to start a punk group. And the other connection with the Sex Pistols is that the Damned, their first show was at the 100 Club supporting the Sex Pistols, and that was July 6, 1976. So they saw the Sex Pistols in April of 1976, and then just a few months later, in July, they had a band together, a name, a lead singer, and they were off and running. The Damned were very early to release their single New Rose, and as I said, they were the first punk band to come to LA, one of the first punk bands to release an album. I mean, they were really, they really moved fast. So I'm so happy that we're going to see them tonight. As I said, the first time I saw them was April 18th and 19th, 1977. So that was 48 years ago. And it is funny that they're calling this the 40th anniversary tour. They must have done a big tour of the U.S. maybe 40 years ago. And but yes, as I said, the first time I saw them was 48 years ago. Oh my God, that's kind of mind-boggling. And I think it's really neat that they, unlike the Sex Pistols, unfortunately, these members don't all get along, or at least three of them get along. But I think it's really neat that the Damned are still gigging, still performing, still releasing records, and I think that's just great. Unfortunately, as most people know, Brian James just passed away not that long ago. And so I think Paul Gray is on bass, and then the other original members are going to be there. So I'm really excited. I don't think I've seen them in about 10 years. And we're going to meet my friend Toby Goldstein, who has a connection with the Damned as well. I'll ask her in this video when we're there if I think she went on the tour bus with them in the 70s. She was a well-known journalist and publicist. She wrote for NME, and so she saw lots of the punk scene early on. So I'm going to ask her about that because I know she's had some experiences with the Damned at a very early time in their career. And the reason why I put in the video, I'm titling the video, "Are the Damned We're Seeing," is because, like, I don't know if you're that way, but ticket prices are so expensive. And whenever I decide to go to a show, that's always a factor. So I'm sure the Damned are going to be worth it, but whether a concert is worth it also depends on how much you pay to get in. And just for reference, because I know a lot of people might be outside the United States, our tickets were $55, and I believe with the extra processing fees, they were $65 each. So for around $130, Joe and I are going to the show. So that's pretty good these days. I remember back going 50 years ago, most concerts were about $5 that I saw. Maybe $7.50 at the most. When I saw the Sex Pistols in 1978, the tickets were $3.50. And when I looked up inflation, not to go on a tangent, but when I looked up the inflation in the last 50 years, the dollar has actually risen 6 times, or the purchasing power has diminished 6 times. So you need $6 to buy what $1 you could do with $1 50 years ago. But ticket prices have really risen more than 6 times in 50 years. One band that came through Orlando not that long ago, a few months ago, was Psychedelic Furs, and we decided not to go just because a couple factors. I've seen Psychedelic Furs many times, but the minimum ticket was $120, and I just thought, really? I mean, and then with the fees and everything, you're probably paying $140 each, and then it becomes $300 for a couple. And I just said no. I just didn't. So I'm happy that the Damned are coming through Orlando, and I think that they're charging a reasonable price these days for a concert ticket. So unless they do a terrible show, which I'm sure they won't, I'm sure they'll be worth it. So I think I've waffled on enough. And let's get to the show. All right, so we're here at Disney Springs at a Mexican restaurant, and we're here with her friend Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, how are you?
And here we are with Toby Goldstein.
The author.
Yes, and I've done a video on Toby. She has so many interesting stories. And first I want to ask Toby, what does the Damned mean to you? Why did they resonate with you so much?
Oh, well, I go back to the original time with them, and I spent a lot of time in England during that first punk era. I never saw them live then, but
did you tour with them?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I got an assignment 2 years later, I think it was 1979, for the wondrous Cream magazine, and I went on tour with them in England. We went up to Manchester and then came back to London, and I wrote an article for Cream called "I Toured with the Damned and Lived."
And that was for Cream?
Yes.
For Cream magazine.
Yes.
So that was in 1979. Okay, well they were big at that point. They were real big.
They never got to be that big in America, though.
No, I know. Yeah. I love them too. I first saw them in when they first came to LA in '77. So, I'll have to look up that article. So, the article was I toured with the Damned and I lived.
No, just no and live. No I.
and live. What were they like on tour? Were you in the bus with them?
I was in the bus.
Oh, what was that like? I'm
Just-
guessing Rat was kind of crazy, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, nobody was like destroying the bus or anything like that. But like a lot of humor that probably I couldn't understand, and it was probably for the best.
Yeah.
But just like they were musicians. They were like normal people. I wasn't. This is kind of a routine for them.
Yeah, to have journalists around. Yeah.
And I had the feeling that like they all got along pretty well. I mean, whatever may have happened at any other time, I never saw that, so it was nice.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're still around. I mean, the Sex Pistols don't speak to the three of them don't speak to John Lydon anymore, but it's nice that this is a band that actually, at least like each other enough to still tour together. I think that's great.
I know, and I was really surprised when I saw how many dates they were doing in Central Florida.
I know.
Fantastic.
I put that in my intro to the video. We don't get a lot of big bands. They don't come to Central Florida. A lot of them just do the Northeast and then they go out west. So.
If I had thought about it more, I probably would have gotten tickets to a couple of the other shows and traveled around.
Yeah. I think they're playing Tampa and I don't know where else. Maybe Tallahassee. I'm not sure, but
they seem to have been very happy with the reception that they've gotten. I've been reading on their page or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun show.
You got a Warhol shirt.
Right, so we're here at, what do they call it? Disney Springs. Disney Springs in Orlando. You wouldn't think the Damned are going to be playing here, but they are. I actually don't, this is actually my first time here. I don't really do Disney stuff very often. All right. You ready to see the Damned, Joe?
I am indeed.
Yeah?
Yes. Indeed I am.
What's your favorite Damned song?
Smash it up.
Smash It Up, yeah.
Not
Good
smash
answer.
it down, but
Good
smash it up.
answer. Good answer. What's your favorite Damned song? Toby?
My favorite what?
Damned song. Song by the Damned.
Shake It Up.
Shake It Up?
Not Shake It Up.
Smash It Up.
Smash It Up.
Smash It Up. Shake It Up's good.
Let's do it in a row.
How about you, Kevin?
I don't know any of them.
Okay.
Sorry.
Smash It
That's
Up's
why
a
I'm
good
coming. I
one.
want to learn all the songs. Smash it up? All right.
All right, we made it to the House of Blues. They always have merchandise and bar, and I think we go over here. Yeah. Tickets. Toby just told me that they're not sold out because her friend just bought a ticket. I don't know where you go in.
I think it was back there.
Oh yeah, probably. I'll go get them. Right, we made it.
So this year, just
House of Blues.
It's crazy. Here? Oh, here? Yeah. Really? Well, up in the Panhandle, which isn't that far, about 6 hours.
Steven.
Did you like it, Joe?
Yeah, it was an awesome show.
Yeah?
They finally did the
Did
song
you?
at the end.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot how much I loved I Just Can't Be Happy Today. And, you know, I think my favorite song is Neat, Neat, Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neat, 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 and then New Road.
Happy today. Yeah. I just can't be happy
I
today.
just can't be happy today.
That
I
was
know.
one of the,
Yeah.
That was one of the best songs of the night for sure.
It was, yeah. And then
Sometimes you feel that way.
And it was weird. They did White Rabbit, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did White Rabbit at the
Yeah,
end.
they
on
did
their
White
second
Rabbit.
encore, third encore.
Yeah, they did 3 encores, and he sounded really good
Yeah.
doing White
Oh,
Rabbit.
it was awesome. I
Yeah.
loved it. I wasn't expecting it. No
And-
one was expecting it.
And Rat Scabies did a drum solo. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the other members needed a rest.
Yeah, drum solo. It's like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
let's go get a beer on the second encore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so great live. I love them. This was great. So it was
that's
it
great.
was worth seeing them live, don't
was
you
great.
think?
Yeah, it was
worth
awesome.
the ticket
It
price.
was awesome.
All right, we had a great time. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, we'll be what? Seeing ya.